Why Stoic men never chase women. Why is it that the men who seem to care the least are the ones women want the most? Think about it. You see this pattern everywhere. The guy who is overly available, who texts back instantly, who drops everything just to spend 5 minutes with her. That man usually ends up ghosted, friend-zoned, or replaced. But then there is the other guy. The one who is calm, focused on his own life, and completely unbothered by the thought of losing her. That is the man she fears losing. Now, you might think this is about arrogance or playing games. It is not. It is actually ancient philosophy. The Stoics figured this out nearly 2,000 years ago. They understood that chasing is really just neediness dressed up as interest. And in the laws of human nature, neediness pushes people away. If you want to understand why desperation kills attraction and why self-mastery creates magnetism, you need to watch this entire video. But before we go any further, if you are tired of always feeling like you are the one giving more than you get in relationships, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is all about helping you build the kind of mindset that attracts people without you having to chase them. Now, let's get into it. We are living in a strange time. It is the age of digital validation, swipe culture, and what many now call simping. Men are taught that to get the girl you have to pursue aggressively. Send the flowers. Write the paragraphs. Prove your worth. But if you look at what actually happens, the data and the lived experience of millions of men tells a different story. The more you chase, the faster they run. This is not some modern conspiracy. This is human psychology, and it was mapped out long ago by 3 great men. There was Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. There was Seneca, the playwright and statesman. And there was Epictetus, the man who was born a slave but became philosophy's greatest teacher. They taught that a man's power lies not in what he takes from the world, but in what he demands from himself. They taught the art of emotional detachment. They taught the practice of self-respect. And they taught the power of silent attraction. In this video, we are going to break down the 8 core principles of why Stoic men never chase. We will look at the ancient wisdom and apply it to modern dating. By the end, you will have the framework to become the man who is chosen, rather than the man who is always doing the choosing. Point 1. The paradox of pursuit. The law of reversed effort. There is a universal law that governs attraction, and it is deeply counterintuitive. The more you try to grab hold of something, whether it is a woman, or sleep, or even happiness, the more it slips through your fingers. In Stoicism, this is understood through the lens of desire. The Stoics divided everything into 2 categories. There are things within our control, like our thoughts, our actions, and our character. And there are things not within our control, like the opinions of others, the weather, and yes, the affections of a specific woman. Epictetus opened his handbook, the Enchiridion, with this very truth. He said, "Some things are up to us and some are not. If you think that things which are by nature enslaved are free, and that things not your own are your own, you will be hindered. You will lament. You will be disturbed. And you will find fault with both gods and men. When a man chases a woman, he is making a critical error. He is treating something external, her affection, as if it is his own possession. He believes that if he just texts the right thing, or buys the right gift, or shows up at the right time, he can force a positive outcome. But you cannot force a flower to bloom by pulling on its petals. Let us look at a real-life example. Think about the difference between the pickup artist and the high-value man. Back in the 2000s, the pickup artist community exploded. Men were taught routines and scripts. They viewed women as objectives to be conquered. They chased numbers. They chased validation. They chased the clothes. But here is the tragedy. Even when they succeeded, they felt empty. They had won a prize they did not truly want, and they had to keep chasing the next one just to feel alive. Now look at the high-value man. He might be an artist in his studio. He might be an entrepreneur building a company. He might be a craftsman perfecting his skill. He does not have time to study routines. He has a life. When he meets a woman, he is present and he is kind. But he is not desperate. He does not need her to like him because he already likes himself. This is the paradox of pursuit. By letting go of the need to possess her, you become someone worth possessing. The chase repels. The stillness attracts. When you stop trying to catch the butterfly, it lands on your shoulder. Point 2. Abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. If you are getting value from this video, hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss the rest. We are just getting started. Let us dig into the psychology behind the chase. Why do men chase? It is almost always rooted in one toxic belief. That belief is scarcity. The scarcity mindset whispers to you. It says, she is the only one. If you let this go, you will die alone. You will never find anyone this beautiful again. This fear grips your heart, and it turns a confident man into a nervous wreck. He overinvests early. He tolerates bad behavior. He puts her on a pedestal so high that he cannot reach her. And eventually, she looks down and sees him as just another admirer. The Stoic, however, cultivates an abundance mindset. And please understand, this is not about having a roster of women. It is about having a roster of options in life. It is about knowing that your happiness is not sourced from a single person, but from your own character and your own purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you realize that your power lies within, you stop fearing the loss of external things. If one woman leaves, your mind remains. Your purpose remains. Your hobbies remain. Your mission remains. You are not diminished just because she exited stage left." Think of it this way. Imagine two men at a party. The first man is scanning the room. He is hoping a woman will talk to him. He looks anxious. He looks needy. He is in a state of scarcity because he has nothing else going on. The second man is at the party because his friend dragged him there for an hour. He is actually more interested in a project he is working on tomorrow. He is relaxed. He is telling stories. He is laughing. He is not looking for anyone. Who do you think the women gravitate toward? The second man, of course. Why? Because he has an abundance of purpose. He is not there to get something. He is there just to be himself. The Stoic man does not chase because he knows that the world is full of interesting people. More importantly, he knows that he is an interesting person. He invites people into his world. He does not beg to be let into theirs. Point 3. Outcome independence. The art of not caring. There is a phrase in modern dating that gets thrown around a lot. It is called outcome independence. It sounds like a slick pickup line, but its roots are deeply Stoic. Outcome independence is the ability to act with virtue, with confidence, and with intention, while being completely unattached to the result. You ask her out because you want to get to know her. If she says yes, great. If she says no, great. The no does not register as a failure because your self-worth was never on the line. Seneca understood this better than anyone. He wrote extensively about how to handle fortune, both good and bad. He said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." You prepare yourself. You work on your body. You work on your mind. You work on your finances. You work on your emotional regulation. You become a high-quality man. Then you present that man to the world. Whether the world applauds or boos is irrelevant. You have done your part. Let us look at a real-world scenario. You match with a woman online. You have a great conversation. You ask for her number. She gives it to you. You text for a few days, and then you ask her out for Friday night. She replies and says, "I am busy Friday, sorry." The chaser hears this and panics. His brain goes into overdrive. He thinks, she is lying. She hates me. I said the wrong thing. Let me double text and ask for Saturday. Let me triple text and explain that I am really busy too, so she does not think I am desperate. He has attached his entire self-worth to her availability. The Stoic, practicing outcome independence, reads the text and thinks, okay, she is busy. He puts the phone down and goes back to reading his book, or working on his business, or lifting weights. He does not take it personally because he understands that her schedule is her business, not his. He might reply the next day with something light. Or he might simply wait for her to propose an alternative. If she never does, he does not lose sleep. He knows that his life was fine before she entered it, and it will remain fine if she exits it. This not caring is not coldness. It is self-respect. When you communicate that you have a full life, you become the prize. When you communicate that she is your only source of joy, you become a burden. Point 4. The power of the frame. The unconquerable mind. If you are finding this helpful, go ahead and hit subscribe to lock in this mindset. We are covering things they do not teach you anywhere else. In social dynamics, there is a concept known as frame. Your frame is your perception of reality. It is your beliefs, your values, and your understanding of any situation. Every interaction is a battle of frames. The question is, whose reality wins? When you chase a woman, you automatically surrender your frame and enter hers. You accept her reality. You accept her timetable. You accept her judgment. You start acting in ways that you think she will approve of, rather than acting in ways that are true to yourself. Marcus Aurelius warned against this constantly. He said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If your thoughts are consumed with what does she think of me, you have already lost the battle. Your frame is shattered. You are living in her head, not your own." The Stoic maintains his frame. He is the unconquerable mind that Marcus Aurelius spoke of. He decides what is acceptable behavior and what is not. Here is the perfect real-life example. It is the cancelled date. Imagine you have a date planned for Saturday night. You book the restaurant. You rearrange your schedule. Saturday afternoon, she texts you and says, "Hey, so sorry, something came up. Can we reschedule?" The chaser frame sounds like this. "Oh no, she is pulling away. I need to be flexible. I need to accommodate her or I will lose her." So he replies and says, "No problem, let me know when you are free." He then spends the weekend waiting by the phone, hoping she will text. He has entered her frame. She is the priority. He is the option. The Stoic frame sounds different. He reads the text. He understands that life happens. But he also understands that his time is valuable. He replies and says, "No worries, hope everything is okay. Let me know if you want to figure something out next week." Notice the difference. He did not get angry. He did not grovel. He acknowledged her situation, but then placed the ball back in her court. He then goes and enjoys his Saturday night. Maybe he goes to the restaurant alone. Maybe he calls a friend. Maybe he just enjoys a quiet night in. He wins either way. By maintaining his frame, he communicates something powerful. He says, "My life is interesting. You are welcome to join it, but I will not pause it for you." That frame is magnetic. That frame is power. Point 5. Self-mastery over external validation. Why does a man chase? If we strip away all the excuses and look at the core, the answer is validation. He wants her to like him because her liking him makes him feel worthy. Her attention fills a hole in his ego. Her Instagram like gives him a dopamine hit. Her text message makes his day. But this is a dangerous game. When you outsource your self-worth to a woman, you give her the keys to your emotional kingdom. She can make you happy with a reply, and she can destroy you with her silence. You become a puppet, and she holds the strings. The Stoic path is the path of self-mastery. The Greeks called it arete, which means living up to your full potential. The Stoic seeks validation from only one source. That source is the mirror. Epictetus asked a powerful question. He said, "If you would be a reader, read. If a writer, write." In other words, if you want to be something, just be it. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for a woman to tell you that you are valuable. This is the concept of the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius used this metaphor often. He imagined his mind as a fortress, a citadel that was impossible to breach. The opinions of others, the noise of the crowd, the rejection of a woman, these are arrows that bounce off the walls. They cannot enter unless you open the gate. Let us look at the difference in the modern world. The validation seeker posts a picture on Instagram. He checks his phone every 3 minutes to see if she liked it. He posts stories hoping she will view them. He tailors his content to get her attention. He is performing for an audience of one. The self-mastered man posts his work because he is proud of it. He shares his art because he created it. He does not care who likes it. He cares that he put it out there. He is not performing. He is living. Which man is more attractive? The one who needs validation, or the one who is self-contained? Women are biologically and psychologically wired to seek safety and stability. A man who needs constant validation is neither safe nor stable. He is a child seeking a mother. But a man who is whole on his own, a man who does not need her but simply wants her, that is a man she can lean on. That is a man she respects. When you master yourself, you become the sun. People will naturally orbit your warmth. You do not need to chase the planets. They are drawn to your gravity. Point 6. The discipline of silence. Subscribe right now if you believe that actions speak louder than words. Because this next point is all about shutting up and letting your life do the talking. If there is one behavior that screams I am chasing louder than anything else, it is overcommunication. The double text. The triple text. The hey just checking in. The 5-minute voice note explaining your feelings. The paragraph apologizing for something you did not do. Men chase with their words. They think that if they just explain themselves enough, if they just make her understand how they feel, she will finally see how much he loves her. But this is a fatal error. Words, when used to plead, lose all their power. The Stoics were masters of silence. They understood that there is a time to speak and a time to be still. Seneca wrote that we should hunt out the helpful pieces of teaching and the spirited and noble-minded sayings which are capable of immediate practical use. He valued the quality of words, not the quantity. Silence, in the right context, is not emptiness. It is strength. It is the pause that says, I am secure. I do not need to fill the void with noise. Think about the archetype of the strong silent type in classic cinema. Think of Clint Eastwood in a Western. He does not beg. He does not plead. He does not explain himself. He acts. And because he is silent, when he finally does speak, everyone listens. In modern dating, this translates to text messages. The chaser sends a text. She does not reply for 2 hours. He sends another. He says, "You busy?" She still does not reply. He sends a meme. He is desperately trying to re-engage her, but with every text, he looks more and more desperate. He is digging his own grave with his thumbs. The Stoic sends a text. He goes about his day. He does not watch the read receipt. He does not wonder why she is not replying. He assumes she is living her life, just as he is living his. He holds his silence. And that silence is powerful. It communicates that he is not waiting by the phone. It communicates that he has options, not necessarily other women, but other things to do with his time. The discipline of silence also applies to rejection. If she says she is not interested, the chaser asks why. He wants to argue. He wants to change her mind. The Stoic accepts the silence. He walks away with his dignity intact. He does not give her the satisfaction of seeing him beg. And more importantly, he does not give himself the humiliation of groveling. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your actions do the chasing for you. Point 7. Living your purpose. The ultimate attraction. Here is a question you need to ask yourself. If you removed women from the equation entirely, would your life still be worth living? If the answer is no, you have a problem. You have made women your purpose. And a man whose purpose is women is, ironically, the man who struggles the most to keep them. The Stoic man has a mission. He has a reason to get out of bed in the morning that has nothing to do with romance. He has a craft to master, a body to train, a mind to sharpen, a business to build, a cause to fight for. Epictetus gave us the formula. He said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Who do you want to be? A great father? A great artist? A great leader? A great provider? Define that first. Then pour your energy into becoming that person. When you do this, something magical happens. You stop chasing women because you are too busy becoming a man worth chasing. Look at history. Look at the greats. Think of a military commander like Marcus Aurelius himself. He spent his days on the front lines, leading his army, protecting the empire. Do you think he had time to chase women? No. He had a responsibility. And because he had that responsibility, because he carried that weight, people respected him. He was a leader of men, and that quality is universally attractive. Think of an artist like Michelangelo. He spent 4 years lying on his back painting the Sistine Chapel. He was obsessed with his work. He was not prowling the streets looking for dates. His passion was his purpose, and that passion was magnetic. Think of an explorer like Ernest Shackleton. His mission was to cross Antarctica. He had a goal that was bigger than himself. Men wanted to follow him, and women admired his drive. In the modern world, this is no different. A man who is passionate about his career, his fitness, his philanthropy, or his art radiates a frequency that is impossible to ignore. When you live your purpose, you invite her to be a part of your adventure. You are not asking to join hers. And which sounds more appealing? Joining an adventure that is already underway, or trying to build one from scratch with someone who has no direction. Do not make her your mission. Make her your companion on the mission. That is how you stop chasing and start leading. Point 8. The final test. The amor fati mindset. We have arrived at the final point. We have talked about the paradox of pursuit, abundance mindset, outcome independence, the frame, self-mastery, silence, and purpose. But there is one final piece of Stoic wisdom that solidifies everything. It is called amor fati. It is a Latin phrase that means love of fate. The Stoic does not merely tolerate what happens to him. He loves it. He embraces it. He sees every event, especially the difficult ones, as necessary fuel for his fire. Nietzsche, who was heavily influenced by the Stoics, later wrote that his formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati. That one wants nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. How does this apply to relationships and chasing? When a woman rejects a Stoic man, or when a relationship ends, the world of the chaser crumbles. He enters a state of depression. He begs. He pleads. He tries to change the past. The Stoic, however, practices amor fati. He looks at the rejection and says, "This had to happen. This is for my good." He does not mean this in a masochistic way. He means that the rejection is pruning his life. It is removing someone who was not meant to be there to make room for someone who is. It is teaching him a lesson about his own behavior. Or it is freeing up his time to focus on his purpose. Marcus Aurelius summed up the entire Stoic approach to life and relationships in one of the most powerful lines ever written. He said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Do not argue with her about why she should stay. Do not argue with the universe about why this is unfair. Just be the man you are supposed to be. When you love your fate, you become unshakable. You become the mountain, not the storm. The storm rages and destroys and then disappears. The mountain sits silently, watching the storms come and go, unmoved, eternal. When you stop chasing, you become the mountain. You become the calm center in a chaotic world. And that calm, that stillness, is the most attractive force in the universe. You stop being the chaser. You become the unchased. So let us recap the journey we just took together. We learned that chasing creates scarcity while self-mastery creates abundance. We learned that outcome independence frees you from the emotional roller coaster of dating. We learned to hold our frame and build our inner citadel. We discussed the power of silence over the weakness of overcommunication. We realized that a man with a purpose is infinitely more attractive than a man with a hobby of chasing women. And finally, we learned to love our fate, amor fati, so that no rejection can ever truly break us. This is the path of the Stoic man. It is not the easy path. It requires discipline. It requires you to look in the mirror and take responsibility for your own energy. It requires you to stop blaming women for not liking you and start becoming the type of man that is impossible to ignore. But if you walk this path, you will find that you do not just win in dating. You win in life. You become free. If this video added value to your life, hit that like button to help other men find this philosophy. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next lesson in mastery. And most importantly, drop a comment below. Which of these 8 points hit you the hardest? Was it the discipline of silence? Was it the power of the frame? Maybe it was a more fatty. Let me know in the comments. And tell me what you want me to talk about in the next video. I read the comments, and I write for you. Until next time, stand tall, stay disciplined, and stop chasing.